राधे
सदगुरु सरकार की
जय।
हम लोग अभी भोग लगाएंगे, फिर सत्संग शुरू करेंगे। अब ना और तरसाओ रसिया, आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। अब ना और तरसाओ रसिया, आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। प्यास लागती रसिया, तदपि भाववश ब्रज छछिया लगी चोरी करत हियो रसिया। तदपि भाववश ब्रज छछिया लगी चोरी करत हियो रसिया। हो रसिया मेरे मन बसिया, रसिया हो रसिया मेरे मन बसिया। रसिया हो रसिया मेरे मन बसिया, रसिया हो रसिया मेरे मन बसिया। अपना और तरसाओ रसिया, अपना और तरसाओ रसिया। आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया, आओ आओ भोग लगाओ रसिया। बोलिए श्याम रसिया की जय, श्रीमद सतगुरु सरकार की जय। जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे। भगवान ने भोग लगा लिया है, अब ये प्रसाद बन चुका है। Everybody can sit at the tables and we'll have prasad and we'll start the satsang. So if you could please take your seats at the tables.
राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे। राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे, राधे राधे गोविंद।
राधे राधे। दीदी जी आज अपने बिजी शेड्यूल से कुछ पल निकाल के हम लोगों के लिए उद्धार के लिए यहाँ पर आई हैं। सो मैं सोचता हूँ आप सभी लोग बहुत शांति से भजन का आनंद लेंगे, भक्ति में ओतप्रोत होंगे और दीदी जी के जो शिक्षा है उनको ग्रहण करेंगे। दीदी जी के बारे में वैसे मैं कुछ भी क्या कहूँ, आप सब लोग जानते ही हैं, आप सब लोग सत्संगी हैं। दीदी जी जो पंचम मौलिक जगत गुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज हैं, उनकी सीनियर प्रचारक हैं। Didi Ji has been doing the prachar all over the world, but mostly in North America. With that, I would request Didi Ji to start the satsang. Radhe Radhe Didi Ji.
बोलिए लाडली लाल की जय। बहुत धीमे स्वर से बोले हैं आप, अभी तो आपने बहुत अच्छा प्रसाद पाया है। बोलिए लाडली लाल की जय, श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की जय। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर् गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। वन्दे नवघनश्याम पीतकौशेय वाससं सानन्दं सुन्दरं शुद्धं श्रीकृष्णं प्रकृतेः परम्। नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिने नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमलेक्षण यो ब्रह्माणं विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तद्गुंहा देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशं मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Dear devotees of God, would you kindly turn to page number 158, 158. As you know, no one can know anything about God, and in fact the aim of one's life without the Guru's guidance. No one can walk on the spiritual path without the Guru's constant guidance and care. So first the disciple bows to his Guru and then he bows to God. That is our Hindu tradition. Prathamam Sadgurum Vande. I bow to my Guru first. Shri Krishnam Tadanantaram. And then I bow down to Shri Krishna. Why? Because Guru Papatmanam Trata. Shri Krishnastwamalatmanam. The Guru, he accepts even fallen souls, sinful souls. Whereas Shri Krishna accepts only those who are pure of heart. Nirmal man jana so mohi pava, says Bhagwan Shri Krishna in the Ramayana. Bhagwan Shri Ram, Shri Krishna, one and the same. I love the pure-hearted souls. I don't like deception. I don't like crookedness. I want innocence. I want a pure heart. But how can we get that pure heart? There the Guru comes in and says, I will do it. Saint Kabir Das says the Guru is like a dhobi, a washerman, and the disciple's heart is like a soiled garment. So the Guru scrubs that garment, he scrubs and cleans and uses soap and water and renders that garment clean. In other words, the Guru purifies the heart. And so the disciple bows first to the Guru, then to Bhagwan. Here, a disciple is saying, Gurudev Sharan mein aayi, ab to lo mohi api. Accept me, my Gurudev, I have surrendered to you. Before we can surrender to Bhagwan, we need to surrender to Guru. Shri Krishna says in the Bhagavad, Acharyam mam vijaniyan. He says, know that the Guru is myself. I descend to earth in the form of a Guru. Guru is the giver of knowledge. Guru is the one who dispels ignorance. Gum rauti iti Guru. हमारे वेदों में गुरु शब्द का अर्थ बताया है कि जो अज्ञान को तहस नहस करे वो है गुरु. गुम राउति इति गुरु गिरति अज्ञानम इति गुरु, जो अज्ञान को नष्ट कर दे, और गृणाति ज्ञानम इति गुरु, जो ज्ञान प्रदान करे. सर्वोच्च ज्ञान भगवदीय ज्ञान प्रदान करे वो है गुरु. So the disciple says, I go surrender to you, my Gurudev. I beg you to accept me. I have come without a gift. I have brought only an empty container. In other words, my dry heart is all that I have brought with me. Kachu paint, sang nahi lai, khali choli le ai. Accept my garland of tears and remedy my pitiful condition. Asuan mala le ai, do bigari mori banai. When tears fall from both the eyes, there are two streams of tears falling, and when they reach down and they go down, further down from the face, then they meet at the heart, then the both streams become one, and that is a garland of tears, and I shall present you a garland of tears. What will God do with tears? What will Guru do with the tears? God and Guru have similar nature, same nature I should say, that God loves tears, He loves love, God is in love with love, and when we shed tears of love for Him, He becomes merciful. Guru is the same. Guru looks for tears, the genuine love, genuine crying out, the genuine hunger. And then when he sees the genuine tears, then he graces. So Asuan Mala le I gift to you a garland of tears. Then the disciple says, I don't want pleasures of the world. I do not want pleasures of Swargalok, the celestial abode. I don't even want the bliss of Vaikuntha or liberation. I only want Chaha Yugal Charan Sharanai. Mohi bhukti mukti nahi bhai. मुझे भुक्ति नहीं चाहिए, यानी माइक सुख नहीं चाहिए और मुक्ति भी नहीं चाहिए. मैं इसलिए आपसे आपके पास नहीं आ रही कि आप मुझे मुक्ति दे दीजिए. हमें भुक्ति मुक्ति नहीं चाहिए. हमें तो केवल युगल चरण यानी श्री राधा कृष्ण दोनों की चरणों की शरण चाहिए. आप हमें उनकी शरणागत करा दीजिए. Traveling since time immemorial in 8.4 million forms, I have never had any rest even for a moment, says the devotee. Lakh chaurasi chali ai, kahun palahun, कल नहीं पाई, कहीं चैन नहीं मिला. 84 लाख में घूमते रहे, कहीं भी सुख नहीं मिला, कहीं चैन नहीं मिला, परेशान हो गए. माया ने हरि बिसराई. Maya made me forget God. Guruvar ने याद दिलाई. My Gurudev reminded me of God. Maya ने मार लगाई, Guruvar ने कंठ लगाई. Maya gave me a sound beating. Gurudev embraced me lovingly. Maya ने प्यास बढ़ाई, Guruvar ने प्यास बुझाई. Maya increased my thirst. The more we have pleasures of the world, the more pleasures of the world we taste, the more we want. That is everyone's experience. The more we have, the more we want. Jo prati labh lobh adhikai. The Ramayana says, the more you have, the more you want. Greed increases. So, Maya increased my thirst, my Gurudev quenched my thirst. Bhavasagar thah na pai, Guru ne bhavasindhu sukhai. I could not see the end of the ocean of Maya. My merciful Guru dried up the ocean of Maya. Sharanagati raha dikhai. He showed me the path of self-surrender. Guruvar par bali bali jai. I sacrifice myself over and over again on my Guru. Jag janami janami dukh pai, ab Guru ki lai sharanai. After being tormented lifetime after lifetime, now I have surrendered to my merciful Master. Tu ja Kripalu sharanai, hari parkhat bhuj phailai. Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj says, surrender to Shyam Sundar. He awaits you with outstretched arms. The Guru is saying, surrender, O dear disciple, surrender to Shyam Sundar, surrender to God. He is waiting for you with outstretched arms. Kindly sing after me. As you know, most of you should know that singing bhajans and kirtans is a very big part of devotional practice. Especially in this age that we're living in Kali Yuga, this is the way to get the mind interested in God. And this is why I'm starting off by singing. And the pravachan, the lecture will come later, but we will sing first to quiet the mind, to still the mind, to focus the mind. गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। कछु भेंट संग नहीं आए, कछु भेंट संग नहीं आए, खाली झोली ले आए। कछु भेंट संग नहीं आए, खाली झोली ले आए। खाली झोली ले आए, खाली झोली ले आए। असुवन माला ले आए, दो बिगड़ी मोरे बनाए। असुवन माला ले आए, दो बिगड़ी मोरे बनाए। दो बिगड़ी मोरी बनाए, दो बिगड़ी मोरी बनाए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। मोहि भुक्ति मुक्ति, मोहि भुक्ति मुक्ति नहीं भाई, मोहि भुक्ति मुक्ति नहीं भाई। चाह युगल चरण शरणाए, मोहि भुक्ति मुक्ति नहीं भाई। चाह युगल चरण शरणाए, चाह युगल चरण शरणाए। चाह युगल चरण शरणाए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए। लख 84 चले आए, कहूँ पल हूँ कल नहीं याद दिलाई।
माया में हरि बिसराई, गुरुवर ने याद दिलाई।
गुरुवर ने याद दिलाई।
गुरुवर ने याद दिलाई।
माया ने मार लगाई। माया ने मार लगाई। गुरुवर ने कंठ लगाई।
माया ने मार लगाई, गुरुवर ने कंठ लगाई।
गुरुवर ने कंठ लगाई।
गुरुवर ने कंठ लगाई।
माया ने प्यास बढ़ाई। माया ने प्यास बढ़ाई। गुरुवर ने प्यास बुझाई।
माया ने प्यास बढ़ाई, गुरुवर ने प्यास बुझाई।
गुरुवर ने प्यास बुझाई।
गुरुवर ने प्यास बुझाई।
गुरुदेव शरण में आए। गुरुदेव शरण में आए। अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए।
गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए।
भवसागर थाह न पाई। भवसागर थाह न पाई। गुरु ने भव सिंधु सुखाई। गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए।
गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए।
तू जा कृपालु शरणाई, तू जा कृपालु शरणाई। हरि पर खत भुज फैलाई,
पूजा कृपालु शरणाई, हरि पर खत भुज फैलाई।
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 गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए।
गुरुदेव शरण में आए, अब तो लो मोहि अपनाए।
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 बोलिए कृपालु गुरुदेव की
जय।
Janmashtami is coming up at towards the end of the month, on the 30th of this month, and we need to now invite our Lord to descend to earth in our midst. When he hears the loving invitation from his devotees, he definitely has to come down to earth. So I would like you to turn to page number 146. Just go a little bit back. 146. Once my Gurudev, Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, was asked, why is it that Bhagwan descends only to India, in India? Why does he come only to Bharatvarsh? Shri Maharaj Ji first said, he said, well, you know, the mightiest demons also come to Bharatvarsh. So to slay them, he has to come. Then he said, no, seriously, God goes wherever he's invited. So in the sacred land, there are so many pure-hearted devotees who beg the Supreme Lord to descend to earth. तो जब कोई भक्त पुकारता है आर्त भाव से कि आप आइए, धरती पर आइए, अवतार लीजिए, तो भगवान को आना ही पड़ता है. Shri Maharaj Ji said there are many people in the sacred land who love God and they beg God to descend to earth, and that is why he comes, because he goes wherever he is invited. So we are very humbled by the heritage that we have of the sacred land of India, Bharatvarsh, where Bhagwan descends to earth again and again. So Nandanandan, the son of Nand, Shri Krishna, his divine birthday is coming. He performs his sweet leelas when he comes down to earth, and he delights us. He is the darling of Vrindavan. He is the darling of our hearts. We love him. He is God, the Supreme Lord. He is the Lord of Lords. First of all, there is a Lord, Mahavishnu. Let me talk about, first of all, about Brahma, Vishnu and Shankar. They are all lords. Brahma, Vishnu, Shankar, creator, protector and destroyer of the universe. There are countless universes. Sankhya chetra jasamasti na vishwanam kadachana Brahma, Vishnu, Shivadinam tatha sankhya na vidyate. Devi Bhagavad Puran says there are countless universes. It may become possible one day to count the grains of of sand that are in the world, which is absolutely impossible. Grains of dust, I should say. How many dust particles are there in the whole world? That's impossible to count. It's impossible to count. But that impossible task may become possible, but it is absolutely and utterly impossible to count the number of universes that exist. पृथ्वी के रजकणों की गिनती भले ही कोई कर ले, लेकिन जो ब्रह्मांड है उनकी गिनती कोई नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि वो असंख्य है. So every universe, every Brahmand has one Brahma, one Vishnu, one Shankar. There are countless Brahmands, universes, so there are countless Brahma, countless Vishnu, countless Shankar. And then there's one Mahavishnu who lives in Vaikuntha Lok, and he is the Lord of countless Brahmas, Vishnus and Shankars. And then that Mahavishnu, he also is a part of a personality who is called Shri Krishna. Mahavishnu is a partial manifestation of Shri Krishna. So, Shri Krishna is the Lord of Lords. There is no one beyond him. Mattah parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. In the Gita, Shri Krishna says, O Dhananjaya, O Arjun, there is none beyond me. And yet, that Lord of Lords, the Supreme Lord, he descends to earth. He's so simple, so simple-hearted that he comes down to our level. He comes here, he lives in our midst, he performs his leelas. 5,000 years ago, Bhagwan Shri Krishna came down to earth. We are still reading about his leelas. We are singing those leelas. We are falling in love with him on the basis of those leelas. So Janmashtami is coming up, his divine birthday. We always celebrate with so much enthusiasm and so much love. So let's invite Shri Krishna to come down to earth. Let's send him a loving invitation. Once again, page number is 146. Aja Puni Braj Aja Nand Nandan.
Aja Aja Puni Braj Aja Nand Nandan.
Aja 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 Puni Braj Aja Nand Nandan.
Aja Aja
सब लोग ताली बजाए गाएं.
Aja Nand Nandan.
आजा नंद नंदन.
Aja Nand Nandan.
आजा आजा पुनी ब्रज आजा नंद नंदन.
Aja Aja Puni Braj Aja Nand Nandan.
ब्रज रस सरस पिला जा नंद नंदन.
Braj Ras Saras Pila Ja Nand Nandan.
ब्रज रस सरस पिला जा नंद नंदन.
Braj Ras Saras Pila Ja Nand Nandan.
आजा नंद नंदन.
Aja Nand Nandan.
आजा नंद नंदन.
Aja Nand Nandan.
आजा आजा अपनी ब्रज आजा नंद नंदन.
Aja Aja Puni Braj Aja Nand Nandan.
मुरली मधुर सुना जा नंद नंदन.
Murali Madhur Suna Ja Nand Nandan.
मुरली मधुर सुना जा नंद नंदन.
Murali Madhur Suna Ja Nand Nandan.
संग रास रचा जा नंद नंदन
सखी संग रास रचा जा नंद नंदन
आजा 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 आजा पुनी रज आजा नंद नंदन
आजा आजा पुनी ब्रज आजा नंद नंदन
आजा आजा पुनी रज आजा नंद नंदन
मतवारी चाल दिखा जा 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 नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
मतवारी चाल दिखा जा 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 नंद नंदन
चित्त कृपालु चुरा जा नंद नंदन
कृपालु चुरा जा नंद नंदन
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 चित्त कृपालु चुरा जा नंद नंदन
कृपालु चुरा जा नंद नंदन
आजा 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 आजा पुनी ब्रज 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 आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा नंद नंदन
आजा आजा पुनी ब्रज आजा नंद नंदन
आजा आजा पुनी ब्रज आजा नंद नंदन
चित्त कृपालु चुरा जा 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 नंद I'm going to base my lecture on my talk on one of the Kirtans. Page one number is 127 for your reference. 127. Shri Maharaj Ji has placed a lot of sweetness and a lot of knowledge also. Both are essential for us. Some people love Kirtan and Bhajan, but they fall asleep when it comes to lectures. Explanations of Vedic scriptures. Explanations that we all need. So they say that they fall asleep in lecture, but they love to do Bhajan and Kirtan. While there are others who love lectures, but they don't care much for Kirtan and Bhajan. In fact, we need both. We need both knowledge and we need bhajans and kirtans. Lectures that give knowledge that we all need, that is the theory. Knowledge of scriptures, what does it teach us? It teaches us about who we are. Very first thing we need to do is Shravan. हमें सुनना पड़ेगा ना, गुरु के द्वारा श्रवण करना होगा कि वेदों शास्त्रों में क्या लिखा है, भगवान ने क्या बताया है, वो हमें सुनना होगा. सुनने के बाद फिर मनन करना होगा, बार बार चिंतन करना होगा कि हमने क्या सुना, ताकि वो ज्ञान पक्का हो जाए. नहीं तो आज है कल चला जाएगा, आज है 1 घंटे में चला जाएगा. तो बार बार सोचना होगा. आवृत्ति रसकृदुपदेशात, उपदेश की बार बार आवृत्ति होनी चाहिए, बार बार सुनना चाहिए. So the first thing we need to do is to listen to the theory. Then the second thing is manan. First Shravan, then manan. We need to revise that knowledge again and again so that it may become firmly planted in the mind. Number 3 is nididhyasan. We need to then implement that knowledge. That theory must be turned into practical application. So when we are listening to lectures, we are absorbing the theory, the knowledge of scriptures. And when we are doing bhajans and kirtans, we are implementing that knowledge. We are practicing devotion. Not just listening to the theory, but we are actually putting the theory into practice. So in this kirtan, Radhe Govinda Govinda Bol, Radhe Radhe Govinda Bol. Meaning is chant the holy names of Radha and Govinda. Radhe Govinda Govinda Bol. What we'll do is we'll just sing it line by line. It becomes more interesting that way, and I'll explain it. Radhe Govinda Govinda Bol, Radhe Radhe Govinda Bol. why should I chant the name of Radha and Govind? क्योंकि यहाँ पे कहा गया कि राधा और गोविंद का नाम लो. Why should I chant the name of Radha and Govind? Why? Because by chanting the name of Bhagwan, our mind starts to take interest in thinking about Bhagwan. We are living in Kali Yuga. There are 4 ages that the Vedas and Vedic scriptures tell us about. Satyug, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. Present is the Kali Yuga. It is the worst of the 4 ages in the sense that our mind is very worldly. Even while we sit in a holy place, our mind is absolutely capable, very capable of thinking about the worldliest things and people. It can think about very impure matters while we sit in a very holy place. So our mind is very distracted by the world. And in the other ages, in Satyug for instance, the method that was prescribed for everyone, the method of meditating on God was quietly closing your eyes and just thinking about a mantra, just thinking in your mind, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And you could just sit down and say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya internally. And you would be able to meditate on God. But that was Satyug. Krit Jug Sab Jogi Vigyani Kari Hari Dhyan Tarahi Bhav Prani. And then came Treta Yuga. And things were not as good as they were in Satyug. In the Krita Yuga or Satyug, people are very, very pure-hearted. And everyone has a natural, almost everyone, great majority, have a great interest in God. So it's very easy for them to just quietly reflect on God and their minds would connect with God. But then things went downward a little bit in Treta Yuga when Bhagwan Sri Ram descends to earth. And so the method of connecting the mind to God changed for in Treta Yuga. Treta vividh yagya nar karahi prabhu hi samarpi karma bhav tarahi. So the recommended method of attaching the mind to God for Treta Yuga, for people of Treta Yuga, is do havan, do yagyas, homas. Perform those yagyas and you'll be able to think about God. But then the yuga changed, times changed, and time elapsed. Then Dwapar Yuga came. Towards the end of Dwapar, Bhagwan Sri Ram is going to reappear as Bhagwan Sri Krishna. And in this yuga, people are now less pure-hearted than they were in Treta Yuga. So now the method, recommended method, also changed. Dwapar kari Raghupati pad puja nar bhav tariye upaya na duja. Ritualistic worship, performing puja, that is the recommended method for people of Dwapar Yuga. Then again, time elapsed and Kali Yuga, 5,000 years ago, please pay attention, 5,000 years ago, when Bhagwan Shri Krishna left this earth, when he ascended to Golok, that is the exact moment when Kali Yuga appeared on the scene. Before that, it was Dwapar Yuga. The moment he leaves, Kali Yuga starts. And in Kali Yuga, now our memories are very weak, our hearts are very worldly, we are extremely attached to the world. So Bhagwan and his saints had to find the easiest method for us. And so in Kali Yuga, Kali Jug Keval Hari Gun Gaha Gavat Nar Pavat Bhav Thaha. Bhagwan has said, O people living in Kali Yuga, O my children living in Kali Yuga, you just chant my names with love and you'll be able to think of me. It's not illogical, it's not just something that came out of the blue. You see, we all love music. Our mind likes music. And our mind loves beauty in all different forms. Beauty in a person, beauty in a flower, beauty in an animal, beauty in a bird like a peacock. We like the peacock feathers. We say this animal, this creature is beautiful. We like beauty in all its forms, and we also love beautiful words. Beautiful melodies attract us. So bhajans and kirtans combine beautiful words. The holy name of God is the most beautiful, with beautiful melodies. And then we add the music, the accompanied by harmonium, the organ, or the drums, the cymbals. That's why we use all these in doing bhajans and kirtans, because all of this combined effect, it really helps our mind to think about God. That is why we should chant the name of Radha and Krishna. Some people say, well, I would rather meditate quietly. That sounds good, but it doesn't work, except in rare cases. Because when we sit down, we have no point of reference. The mind says, give me something interesting, more interesting than the world. And we don't give the mind anything more interesting. Well, God is the most interesting, but the mind needs something to remind itself of God. We don't give it. So what happens is, okay, I'm going to do quiet reflection, quiet meditation. And in my mind, I'm thinking, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I bow down to Shri Krishna, Vasudev Krishna. And after some time, the eyelids get heavy, we get sleepy, we get sleepier. The back that was absolutely straight, it bends and bends. The eyelids get heavier and heavier. And before we know it, the goddess of sleep has overtaken us. Then someone sitting nearby shakes us and say, hey, you're sleeping. And we look at him with anger and we say, I'm not sleeping, I'm meditating. We also know that's not meditation, it's called napping. That's not meditation. Meditation is not that. You have to be fully aware when you meditate. It's like people say, and I hear so many people saying this to me, I like to do my devotion in bed as I'm getting up in the morning. Seriously? You're doing that meditation when you get up and you're in bed? How can you? You're too comfortable. You're too comfortable to be able to meditate. You cannot be that comfortable. So we only kid ourselves when we say that quiet reflection is all I need. I just close my eyes, I am there with Bhagwan. No, it's not true. We need bhajans and kirtans. We are people of Kali Yuga. We are very forgetful, we are very worldly, whether we accept it or not. That is a fact. So this is why Radhe Govind Govind Bol. Tero Radhe Govind Pran. Radha and Govind are your pran, they are your life. Meaning, you are the soul, you are the Atma. The Atma which has no gender, no age, no height, no weight, no nationality, no color, no race, no creed, nothing. You are a pure fraction of God. You are a part of God. God is the source and we are His fractions. We are part and parcel of God. So, I am the Atma and Radha and Krishna. God is the soul of the soul. So, He is, it says over here, Tero Radha, Radhe Govind Pran. Radha and Govind are your soul, meaning you're the soul, and the soul of the soul is the supreme soul. So Radha and Krishna are your life force. Asakaha Puni Puni Sab Shruti Puran. And who has said this? Why should I believe this? Oh no, the Shrutis, the Vedas and the Purans, they have said this. So they are the ultimate authority of knowledge. They have told us this, that God is the life of our soul. Yasya Atma Shariram, Yasya Aksharam Shariram, say the Vedas. Mamaivansho Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, says Shri Krishna in the Gita. Ishwar Ansha Jiva Avinashi, says the Ramayana. So the Vedas and Vedic scriptures tell us this. Man gant kapat ki khol. O my mind, open the knots of deception. You have been deceived into thinking that you are the body, but you are verily the soul. So open the knots of ignorance and chant the name of Shri Radha Krishna. Let's continue. By the way, as we are singing, the clapping process is a very important one. And I'll tell you a story about that. a guru would always tell his disciples, when you chant the names of God, you should always clap. And when you clap your hands doing kirtan, you chase away the birds of your sins. So a disciple asked the guru, he said, Guruji, I'm not doubting what you're saying, but I don't understand how the birds of sins fly away as we chant the name, as we clap while chanting. And the guru said, well, you see, it's like this. When you're chanting, you're taking the mind towards God. You're making it easier for the mind to think of God. But when you clap, just, when we clap our hands, the old-fashioned way of chasing birds from trees is just by clapping your hands. You make a noise and the birds fly away. So when you chant, the sins in the form of birds, they fly away. But the disciple asked, I don't understand. So the guru said, when you are chanting, you're helping your mind. When you clap your hands, you're involving more of your body in the chanting process. So you're giving your mind more help. And the disciple said, now I understand. But Guruji, tell me, I'm curious, when those sins fly away, the birds of sin, they fly away, where do they land? He was a very intellectual sort of a person. He was a thinking individual. Where do they land, he asked. Guruji said, well, son, they land in the mind of those who are not clapping. So a word to the wise is enough, I would say. Radhe Govind Govind Gol, Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Radhe Govind Govind Gol, Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Radhe 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 Govind Gol, Radhe Govind Govind Gol. Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Radhe Govind Govind Gol, Radhe Radhe Govind Gol. Nami aru naam saman maan, Nami aru naam saman maan, Don mahadon vas jaan. Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Ras Gol, Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Ras Gol, Radhe Radhe Govind Gol, Radhe Next, Shri Maharaj Ji says, Nami Aru Nam Samanaman. So why, I'm taking the name of God, but what is the nature of this name of God? So the Guru explains that the name of God and God, they're both one and the same. What does that mean? That God and His name are one and the same? Both of them live in one another. God lives in His name and name lives in God. You see, God enters His name and He enters it with all His powers, with His unlimited powers. So when we are taking the name of God with faith, you have to have faith. With that faith that God lives in His name and the name of God and God are one and the same, then we feel the power of God. Then we receive the powers of God, that He's sitting with all His powers in His name. So name and God are both one and the same. Now, that is not how it is with our name. We are ordinary people. Our name that we are given, we are different from our name. Our name is different from us. When somebody calls out to you from, let's say, a few houses down, somebody's calling out to you. You're not able to hear that person. That person asks, couldn't you hear me? I was yelling out your name. Or you live 10 houses down, I couldn't hear you. Why can't we hear that person calling out to us? Because we don't live in our name. But God, when we call out to Him, He listens. He's in His name and He listens and He responds. Bhagwan has said, He said to Arjun in Adi Puran, Naham vasami vaikunthe yoginam hridayena cha madbhakta yatra gayanti tatra tisthami narad. Rather, Bhagwan said to Narad Muni, O Narad, if you wish to find me, don't go looking for me in Vaikuntha Lok. You won't find me there. And don't look for me in the hearts of the yogi. I'm not there. You will find me where my devotees are lovingly chanting my name. Mad bhakta yatra gayanti tatra tisthami narada. O Narad, I will be found where my devotees are chanting my names with love. With love. Love and faith. So God and His name are both one. Doun mahadoun vas jan. Know that they both live in one another. Yah hira jan anmol. This truth is a priceless jewel. Chinmay Chetan hai Yugal Nam. Yugal meaning both. The name of Shri Radha and Krishna is divine and it is a conscious entity. Now a name is not, you don't think of a name to be a conscious entity. It's a jadavastu, it's insentient. There's no life in a name. But you see, we have to think about it differently now. When it comes to the name of God, it is a conscious entity. The name of God is conscious, it's living, it has life in it. Chinmay, Chetan, it's a transcendental name. It has life in it. It is living force. Chinmay Chetan hai Yugal Nam. And the wonderful thing for us is that nahi kala niyam, nahi niyam dham. There is no strict rule regarding when and where we should chant the holy name. Can I chant the holy name in the kitchen? Yes. Can I chant it in the bathroom? I guess not, right? No, you can. Can I chant it in a very dirty room? Can I chant it where there's only filth around? Absolutely you can. Can I chant the name of God at midnight? Of course. Or do I chant it only at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning? No. There is no strict rule regarding when and where to chant the holy name. There are no restrictions, which is a wonderful thing. जब कोई कर्म कांड करता है तो उसको देखना पड़ता है. ये स्थान ये पवित्र नहीं है, यहाँ नहीं कर सकते, इसको पहले पवित्र करो, दिशाओं को शुद्ध करो, फिर वहां जाकर के कोई कर्मकांड होता है। भगवान का नाम लेने में कुछ सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा कि ये पूर्व दिशा है या पश्चिम है या उत्तर है या दक्षिण है। कोई भी दिशा हो, कोई भी जगह हो, कोई भी स्थान हो, कोई भी समय हो, हर समय ले सकते हो। There was a devotee of God, very pure-hearted devotee. He was actually illiterate, and he had tremendous love for God in his heart. He was so accustomed to chanting the name of God, like Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, that he would keep on chanting even when he went to the toilet. Now, some people, they were actually scholars, they found out about this and they took an issue with that. And they said to him, they scolded him and said, "You foolish man, you don't know the scriptures, so you should not be taking the name of God in such a dirty place. Toilet, for God's sake." And he said, I'm sorry, is this wrong? They said, "Absolutely, you have committed a sin." Well, the poor man started to cry and he said, I promise never to take the name of God when I go to the toilet. But he was so accustomed to it that even when he thought, I will not take the name of God, again he will start taking it. Because good habits as well as bad, we have both. He had this amazing habit of taking the name of God all the time, so he couldn't stop. So now he actually started to hold on to his tongue with one hand, and that's how he would go to the toilet. And when people found out, the same people, they said, "This is crazy. If you cannot stop taking the name of God in a dirty place, what's wrong with you, man?" Well, they complained to their guru. Their guru was the same as his guru, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And they said to Mahaprabhu Ji, they said, "Maharaj Ji, this man, he is such an offender, he takes the name of God." They told him the whole story. Gauranga Mahaprabhu asked this man, "Son, do you take the name of God in the toilet too?" He said, "Yes, Maharaj Ji, I'm so accustomed to taking the name of God. I'm sorry, I know I'm an offender, but I just can't stop." Mahaprabhu Ji embraced him very warmly and said, "Who said you're an offender? These people who call themselves scholars, they don't know a thing. You're doing the right thing. Son, you keep on taking the name of God anywhere and everywhere. Because you see, Prabhu Vyapak Sarvatra Samana. God is equally present everywhere. Sarvatra, everywhere, Samana. Bhagwan सर्वव्यापी है, वो हर जगह समान रूप से व्याप्त है. So don't be listening to these fools who say that God's name should not be taken in the toilet or in some other impure place, because God is already there. He's everywhere, equally present. So the name of God can be taken anywhere, at any place and any time, I should say. Now there's no excuse. सुबह के टाइम तो मिस हो गया, आप तो नहीं ले सकते, चलो कर लेंगे कल, अरे हम तो सोते ही रहे, अब फिर कर लेंगे, कल 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 करते हुए पूरा जीवन बीत गया. तो भगवान ने कहा कोई तुम्हारा कोई बहाना नहीं चलेगा, क्योंकि कभी भी ले लो भगवान का नाम, कभी भी ले लो मेरा नाम, किसी समय ले लो, किसी स्थान पे ले लो. And that is something which is a privilege that God has given to us. Pivu prem sudha rasakol. This is very important. Also, add love to the divine name and drink its sweet nectar. Love. Love is the ingredient that we need to put in. Anything we do for God, we offer Him food, we must do it with love. We give charity in the name of God, we should do it with love, not with pride. When we talk about God, talk about Guru, we should do it with humility, with gratitude, not with pride. We should do it with love, 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 love. Vidurani gave banana peels with love and he accepted them. Shabri gave fruits that she had tasted herself and he accepted them. Why? Because they were given, they were offered with love. Vanar Sena, the devotees in the form of monkeys, they were sitting on top of the tree and Bhagwan Ram, their Lord, is sitting under that tree. But he accepted that behavior. Why? Because they did not even know what they were doing. They were so full of love for Bhagwan Shri Ram that they didn't realize that they were sitting at a higher level than their Lord. So when it's with love, everything is forgiven. Sadhana Kasai, he was a butcher. He was offering flesh, meat to God, and God was accepting it because he was offering it with so much love. Love is something that God is in love with. So when we take the name of God, we should do so with love. There was a very unique personality by the name Shukdev Paramhans. Shuk means parrot. In his earlier incarnation, he was a pet parrot of Radha Rani. So when he was now born as Shukdev, he was so much in love with Radha Rani. He loved Radha Rani so much that whenever he would utter the name Radha, he would go into a samadhi, Prem Samadhi, for 6 entire months. He would go into this meditational trance, devotional trance I should say, for 6 entire months. Shri Radha Nam Matrin Murcha Shan Masiki Bhavet. For 6 months he would be in samadhi. So much love for the name of Radha. And we are chanting the name of Radha. Either we are affected a little bit, and sometimes we are affected greatly, and some tears come into the eyes, yes. But at other times, the name Radha means nothing to us. And sometimes we fall asleep while we are hearing the name of Radha. In other words, when we chant the name of God, sometimes we do feel that love in our heart. Sometimes we feel very little bit of love. Sometimes we feel no love. Sometimes we fall asleep and we think, Kirtan is just a waste of time. But Shukdev Paramhans had this amazing love for the name of Sri Radha, name of God. So Sri Maharaj Ji is saying, add love to the divine name and drink its sweet nectar. कई लोग कहते हैं कि भगवान में जो रस है, तुम कहते हो कि भगवान में रस है, रसो वैसा, वो ऐसा रस है कि जिसका कोई अंत नहीं, पर हम तो भगवान का नाम लेते हैं और हमें तो वो रस जो है उसका टेस्ट नहीं मिल रहा. ऐसा क्यों? क्योंकि हमारा प्यार या तो है नहीं या बहुत छोटा है, तो हमें वो विशेष रूप से रस की अनुभूति नहीं होती. हम देखते हैं किसी को वो तो आंसू बहा रहा है और हमें तो नींद आ रही है, तो उसका प्यार तो बहुत ज़्यादा है, हमारा तो बहुत कम है. तो जितना प्यार होगा हमारा, ध्यान दीजिएगा इस बात पे, भगवान के प्रति जितना हमारा प्यार होगा हृदय में, उतना ही ज़्यादा हमें भगवान का नाम अच्छा लगेगा, उतना ही ज़्यादा हमें रस मिलेगा. रस वो सबको एक समान नहीं मिल रहा, क्योंकि सबका प्यार अलग अलग मात्रा का है. किसी का 10% है, किसी का 90% है, किसी का 50% है. सबका प्यार अलग अलग मात्रा का है, तो सबको समान रूप से रस की अनुभूति कैसे हो सकती है? So if we want to truly taste the nectar of God, we need to develop and increase the love we have for God in our heart. This is why Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj is saying, Pivu Nam Prem Ras Ghol. Take the name of God, but add love to it. That's a necessary ingredient. We'll continue with Seva Hi Apna Sadhya. Radhe Govind Govind Bol, Radhe Radhe Govind Bol, Radhe Govind Govind Bol, Radhe Radhe Govind Bol. Seva hi apna sadh jaan, seva hi apna sadh jaan, samnarak swarg apvarg maan, samnarak swarg apvarg maan, hai prabal
निज सुख ही मान बिनु बोल रतन ले मोल राधे राधे गोविंद बोल राधे 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 गोविंद राधे गोविंद 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 राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे गोविंद राधे गोविंद सच तो है स्वामी सदृश नाम है नित्य दास स्वामी निशान 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 ले नाम राधे नाम प्रेम रस घोल राधे राधे गोविंद ले नाम प्रेम रस घोल राधे राधे गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद सेवा ही अपना साधे जान. Understand that seva, devotional service rendered for the pleasure of God and Guru, that is your aim. Seva is a beautiful word. It is the most beautiful concept. Seva is the greatest concept of all in devotion. Serving means that we give something of ourselves that is precious to us. We give something that we hold dear to ourselves. Our body is very dear to us. So when we engage it in devotional service, then we are giving something that is very dear to us. Wealth is very dear to each and every person. So when we give some of it away, when we serve financially, then we give something that is dear to us. So that is a sacrifice. And mainly we need to give our heart to God, and that is very dear to us. It's filled with so many worldly people. When we give it to God and Guru, then we render it pure. We render our body pure by using it in the service of Hari and Guru. We render the impure wealth pure by using it in the service of God and Guru. And we render our mind pure. We purify our mind by bringing God and Guru into the mind. So, seva hi apna sathi jaan. Understand that seva is your aim. हमने सुना ना सेवा से मेवा मिलती है. सेवा करो मेवा मिलेगी. कौन सी मेवा? भगवत प्रेम. ये है मेवा. भगवत प्रेम, मानव देह की प्राप्ति दोबारा और होगी अगली बार भी. So when we serve God and Guru, what we get is the love of God. When we are blessed with love in our heart, the heart becomes very devotional. Because we have sacrificed something that we hold very dear to ourselves. And do not desire any abode or like narak, swarg. Well, we definitely don't regard, we don't want to go to hell. But here it's being said, regard hell and swarg, celestial abode, and upvarg, meaning moksha, liberation, to be the same. In other words, don't desire any one of these. Don't desire narak, don't desire swarg, don't desire liberation. How are they all the same? Because definitely we don't think that Narak or hell is the same as heaven. How are they same? And then liberation, they're all the same. They're all the same in that in all of these, you do not get the love of Shri Radha and Krishna. You're not blessed with the love of Radha and Krishna. Just as the love of Radha and Krishna, you will not attain it in hell. You will not attain it in Swargalok either. That is also controlled by Maya. And when you become liberated, meaning you merge within God, you merge within Brahman, then again you're deprived of the sweetest love of Shri Radha and Krishna. So regard these three as the same. Hai prabal lalsa mol. The price for Radha and Govind is intense desire. How can we attain Radha and Krishna? The only thing we need to do is to intensify the longing for Radha and Krishna. That's all. It's all dependent on desire. That is all. Bas ek gyan ko rakhu dhyan. Keep one thing in mind, and that is to be happy in the happiness of the beloved. Binu mol ratan le mol. Receive this precious jewel free of cost. The gopis are the greatest devotees of all time. The milk maidens of Vrindavan. They were married women. Most of them were married. They had no husband, they had children, they had a lot of household chores. And while doing everything they were doing in life, they were loving Shri Krishna. They are his greatest devotees. And their love was absolutely free of selfish desire. The gopi would think, Tat Sukha Sukhitvam. Narad Ji has praised the gopis in his Narad Bhakti Sutras. He has said, Tat Sukha Sukhitvam. Love Shri Krishna for his happiness. And then he said, Yatha Braj Gopika Naam. Just as the gopis love him, in the same way you should love him. Without any selfish desire. Just love God to make him happy. He does not need anything from us, but why are we always being beggars and asking him for this and that? Why don't we ask him for his love? Why don't we ask him for himself? Why do we ask him for things of the world? Why ask the Lord of Lords for trinkets like more money, better job, a male child, the routine? Everybody asks for this and that. Trinkets, small things. Why don't we ask him for himself? बहुत से लोग ऐसे मिलते हैं जो कहते हैं जी हम जो चाहते हैं भगवान दे देते हैं. ऐसा है नहीं, पर उनको ऐसा लगता है कि हम जो मांगते हैं भगवान से वो हमें मिल जाता है. तो उनके सामने एक प्रश्न उपस्थित होता है. हम प्रश्न करते हैं उनसे कि आपने कभी भगवान से भगवान को ही क्यों नहीं मांग लिया फिर? यदि आप कहते हैं कि भगवान आपको जो आप मांगते हैं दे देते हैं, तो कभी भगवान की मांग की आपने? जी वो तो नहीं की. तो छोटी छोटी चीज़ें आप ले लेते हैं, मांग लेते हैं उनसे. तो बड़ी चीज़ मांगिए ना, जिसमें सब कुछ है. भगवान मिल जाएंगे तो सब कुछ मिल गया. छोटी छोटी चीज़ें क्यों मांगते हैं? ये तो हमने सोचा ही ना था. So our love for God should be like the love of the gopis. It should be totally selfless. And then Shri Maharaj Ji says that the God's name is the master. Sachato hai Swami Sadrisha Naam. The name of God is the master, and Radha Govind are eternal servants of their name, because they are subservient to their name. Anyone who calls them with love, they will have to rush to that individual. They will have to rush to that devotee. So they are servants of their name. Le naam prem ras ghol. Mix nectar of love into the name of God and chant Radhe Govind. Tulsidas Ji has glorified the name of God at many places in his Ramayana, in Ramcharitmanas. And he has said at one point, Kahana kahi naam badai, Ram na sakai naam gun gai. Kahan kahan lagi naam badai, Ram na sakai naam gun gai. He says, to what extent should I glorify the name of God when the fact is that even Bhagwan Shri Ram does not know in full the glory of his name? Saint Tulsidas is saying this. There is no end to the glory of the name of God. Even God does not know the glory of his name. So we just have 2 more verses to go. Let's sing these and I will explain them quickly. रसना सोरठ नित प्रति राधे रसना सोरठ नित प्रति राधे 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 रसना सोरठ नित प्रति राधे रसना सोरठ नित प्रति राधे सुमिरन नहीं छूटे पल आधे सुमिरन नहीं छूटे पल आधे संग बचे राधे संग बचे चंग धप ढोल राधे राधे गोविंद बोल संग बचे चंग धप ढोल राधे राधे गोविंद बोल श्रुति छूटे ही समदर्शी बखान श्रुति छूटे ही समदर्शी बखान हमरे मत है कृपालु भगवान 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 ये बोल राधे बोल रसिक जन बोल राधे राधे गोविंद बोल ये बोल रसिक जन बोल राधे राधे गोविंद बोल राधे 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 Rasana so rat nit prati radhe. Chant the name of Radha nit prati, every moment. Sumirana nahi chute pal adhe, without leaving even a half a moment's gap. Now that seems like a tall order, doesn't it? Think of Radharani all the time. Don't leave even a half a moment's gap. This will come with practice. We should not think this is a very daunting task. It seems like that. But it's not expected of us that we will start doing this right away. That all of a sudden we will just start thinking about Radharani all the time without leaving half a moment's gap. It comes with practice, gradual practice. It comes with diligent practice. It comes with daily practice. We should not think that this can't be done. It can be done. There are many times in life when we look at someone doing something and we think, Baba, hum to nahi kar sakte. I can't do that. No, I can never do that. Right? There are many times when we go to the circus, we see amazing feats being performed and we think, I could never do that. But the person who is performing that amazing feat probably thought that at one point also. He or she could not have done that, But how is she doing it now? That tightrope walker, how is she walking on that thin wire and such a height? How is she doing that? Practice. It's not like God said, okay, I give you this power. No. Practice makes perfect. So she practiced, she gained perfection. We see, Olympics are going on. Or are they still going on? Just over. They were going on, and we saw the amazing feats there, right? In whatever sport it was. And we think, I would never do that. But that amazing skater, that amazing skier, got up early in the morning when everybody else was sleeping. And, he put in hours and hours of practice. And while other kids were, going to the movies, I guess, or, doing whatever they were doing, the kids were just going to the mall, hanging out. This kid was practicing. There's a lot of practice is needed because he had this dream. Now, one day I want to be in the Olympics. And so he worked diligently and he got there. And we think, oh yeah, it came easy to him. It doesn't come easy to me. That's not true. Or he didn't have to work for it. He did. He had to work very, very hard for it. Anywhere we see perfection or near perfection, or we see expertise in an area, we have to know that there's a lot of practice that went behind doing that. And one day when I was near a pond, and you have seen this also, you see ducks gliding on the water, right? The ducks are just gliding. It just looks so beautiful. And it just seems like there's no work involved in that. They're just gliding nicely, not doing any work at all. But then when I looked, a little bit below the surface, and we all know that they're just paddling their webbed feet very furiously. They're working really hard, but it looks easy. It looks easy, but it's not easy. They're practicing, they're doing a lot of work. And that's why it just seems like they're just gliding on the surface of the water. And that is how it is with everyone who has become an expert in any field. So with practice, we shall also get there. We can also become like Tulsi Das, Surdas, Mirabai, Kabir Das, Guru Nanak Dev. We can also become like these saints. They were once ordinary people like us. At one point, many of these saints, unless they were eternally liberated saints, sadhan, nitya siddh, they became perfect through practice. They were sadhan siddh Mahapurush. We can also become like that. But in order to help us meditate, Sang Bajed, Chang Dhapatol, take the help of musical instruments. Because when these musical instruments are being played, they help our mind greatly. In the end, Shri Maharaj says, Shruti jhoote hi samadarshi bakhan, hamare mat hai Kripalu Bhagwan. The Vedas wrongly declare God to be a neutral judge. In my opinion, says Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, in my opinion, God is most merciful. Hamare mat hai Kripalu Bhagwan. Diya khol rasik janpol. This secret was revealed to me by Rasik saints. Rasik saint is a saint of the highest caliber, the saint who is drinking the sweetest nectar of God, sweetest nectar of Shri Krishna, by loving Shri Krishna as the beloved. He's in Gopi Bhav. He loves Shri Krishna as the Gopi loves him, and he's a Rasik saint. So the Rasik saints have disclosed to me this reality, this fact, that God is not just a neutral judge, He is most merciful. What is great for us, what we are so eternally grateful for is that a Rasik saint is writing this. So a Rasik saint, Jagadguru Shri Kripalu Ji Maharaj, he is writing this, he has written this, he has given this to us. And so when a Rasik saint writes something, it's filled with nectar. He fills even knowledge with a lot of sweetness. And I don't have to convince you of that. We were just singing this. There's a lot of sweetness in singing these kirtans, these devotional chants and songs. And there's a lot of knowledge in these bhajans and kirtans. So there's always a mixture. Because we need both knowledge as well as sweetness. बोलिए रसिक शिरोमणि जगतगुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की जय, श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की जय. I will request you to please stand as we conclude the satsang with the Jagadguru Aarti and Shri Radha Krishna. जयति जगद्गुरु गुरुवर की गाओ मिले आरती रसिक वर की गाओ गाओ मिले आरती रसिक वर की गुरुवर नखमणि चंद्रिका प्रकाश जागे गुर बसे ताके मोह नाश जागे माथ नाथ तब हाथ कर आस ताके होए माया मोह सब ही निराश भावे गति मति रति मन मोह छाड़ हरि नर नाथ गुरु बिन ब्रह्म श्याम नारी के साथ कोमल कृपाल करे कृपा सिंधुनाथ ताके इन्हें आज तू अनाथ हो सनाथ इन्हीं के आधीन के पापी गिरधर की गाँव मिले आरती रसिक वाले पानी रहे प्रेम निष्काम बिनु दाम और ही सफल काया नारी हर की गाँव मिले आरती रसिक वर की गाँव मिले आरती रसिक वर की ननिहाल लीला का सरोना सुविलास छाया दिव्य दृष्टि बिछे प्रेम का प्रकाश ऐसा ही निवार नहीं मंच मृदुहास करे बस बर बस उच्च अट्टहास सुनी चले चाल लगे जगनरे की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की मुस्कान दसन भगवान धुन बेसर छलिनारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की एक मूर्ति कांवर करे एक मूर्ति नाचे एक सिर चूड़ी छवि नाचे दुहन सिर तिरछे मन नाचे बाह गलगाल कृपालु दुहन ब्रजचारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की आरती प्रीतम प्यारी की बनवारी नथवारी की बोलिए लाडली लाल की जय श्री राधा कृष्ण भगवान की जय जगतगुरु श्री कृपालु जी महाराज की जय 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 श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे
राधे राधे दीदी जी। सर्वप्रथम दीदी जी को प्रणाम और सभी भक्तजनों की ओर से मैं दीदी जी को का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूँगा कि दीदी जी ने आप हम सभी लोगों को जो प्रवचन दिया, जो भक्ति से ओतप्रोत भजन सुनाए, सबको सुनकर हम लोगों को बहुत भक्ति लाभ हुआ है। तो सबके लिए मैं एक बार चाहता हूँ सब लोग दीदी को प्रणाम करें। आगे का जो प्रोग्राम है दीदी जी का वो कल वेडनेसडे को क्वींस पार्क में रोज गार्डन में
कदम्ब की डारी